In today's cinematic world, every movie wants to add a post-credit scene to its ending. However, it does not necessary that it will lead you to its sequels or spin-offs. It can be a movie scene, or behind the scenes, or a gig too, which will show fans what happened after our heroes leave that place. In this type of post-credit scenes, the movie creator just wants to make audience wait in the theater after their movie ends. Similarly, recently released movie, Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, do that to its movie. This movie brings the world of the game to life, and includes a hilarious post-credits scene to close out its story. In this movie, the scene actually lands at the mid-credits point, arriving shortly after the first phase of credits have played. Dungeons & Dragons: Honor of Thieves mid-credits scene is ultimately aligned with all that came before in the film. This movie has plenty of comedic moments, but one of the best gags is when Ejin, Holga, Simon and Doric resurrect Holga's ancestors in a bid to obtain information about the Helmet of Disjunction. The post-credits scene confirms the filmmakers didn't forget about the skeleton, who was unfortunately left behind by the characters, left alone in a cemetery, with no hope of being asked another question, so that he could get back to his rest in death. Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves post-credits scene sort of breaks the fourth wall as well, as the resurrected skeleton asks the audience to ask him a question, so that he could go back to being dead. The interrogation scene was funny to begin with, and the film's post-credits scene cleverly carried on with the joke, without having to tease any additional parts to the story. And now, if we talk about the sequel, Honor Among Thieves works well as a standalone film. It didn't need its mid-credits scene to hint there was potentially more story to come, or set up a sequel. It's very much on par with movies like Pirates of the Caribbean, which had several sequels the original film didn't intentionally set up. To that end, there is room for Dungeons & Dragons to continue the characters' stories in a sequel, but it doesn't need to tack anything onto the original film to make it work. Whatever story comes next would also be its own thing, and it doesn't have to hinge on whatever might have occurred in the post-credits scene. Leaving out a sequel setup in the post-credits scene allows Dungeons & Dragons to end on its own terms, without doling out promises for a sequel that hasn't even been given the green light. It also didn't need to include one, and the mid-credits scene the film did have works well with the style and tone of the film. It's a nice addition that is simply there for the fun of it, and that's exactly what Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves is ultimately going for anyway. And that will be good for everything. So guys, that's it. If you watch the Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, what do you think about the post-credit scene? And does the movie deserve a sequel or second part? Please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please like, and also, don't forget to subscribe for more future projects. Thank you guys for watching. See you soon.